really, so my name is Sam Hyde. I'm the president here at Circle, also the owners of the agency, joined today by Jen Rackman and Anthony Brown, two of our incredible employees who have personal experience with surrogacy and also happen to live it. So, I thought I'd talk just for a brief moment about Circle specifically, to hand over to Tony and Jen, who are much more interesting than myself, and they can talk a bit about their areas of expertise and their own personal experience with it. So, Circle has been around for 26 years. We've just started our 26-year business, and we have had over 2,300 babies born through our. We're one of the larger agencies in the country, and what that allows us to do is actually, structure our program different than a lot of folks out there. And so, we, I think, are one of the only programs in the country that has a fixed fee option, which is we will tell you what the journey is going to cost, and that's how much it's going to cost, and we will ride with you until you go home with a child. Or an option to have money back if you do not, which I think is a really valuable, unique aspect of a journey where there's so many unknowns and so many variables out there for you. We are also a full service agency, so we have all the services that you need under one roof. If you have us plus any one of the great IVF clinics that you have here at Men Having Babies, you have all that you're going to need before to have success in your journey. We'll take care of all the legal work, all the insurance, all the social work, all the escrow accounting, all the coordination, all the travel, everything. We are really a one-stop shop. And we have a great group of employees on our team, a ton of us with personal experience in some sort of infertility journey. Jen and Tony both have children through surrogacy. My children are through IVF. We have parents with us that have our parents through adoption. We also have a bunch of women that work for us that are former surrogates and former egg donors as well. So we really have, I think, a pretty incredible group. I'd love to hand it over to Tony and Jen to talk a little bit about what they do and their area of expertise, and then we'd love to answer questions for you guys as well. I think that's usually one of the best uses of time for our breakout session. So Jen, Tony, who wants to go first?
I'll go first, Tony. I'll leave you for the grand finale. I'm Jen Rackman. I'm a social worker with Circle, based in New York, coming to you from my son's bedroom. I joined the team at Circle in 2013 after my son was born through the program. In fact, I realized that today was the day 9 years ago that we got the call from our surrogate to head to Utah because his birthday is on the 9th. So after my son was born, I began doing work for the agency. Here in the tri-state area is really my focus. Really, anyone who comes into Circle's program from the area generally gets pointed in my direction to act as your welcome wagon at first, to provide support as folks go throughout their surrogacy journey. I'm very honored to be part of the group at Circle. The work that's done is truly it's not the career path that I ever would have thought I would have ended up taking, but I'm so grateful that I did and that I'm here. And I'm thrilled to have Anthony Brown, Tony, as part of our team here in New York. Tony and I really work closely together to do consultations with those who live locally, who are looking to learn more about our agency. We do free consultations. They're about 2 hours long. You spend part of the time with a social worker like me, part of the time with an attorney like Tony, and really get into the nitty-gritty of how a whole process works. So we're always here to be resources for you, always here to answer any questions that you might have, whether it's a quick phone call or a consultation. We are here. So welcome. Tony, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am Anthony Brown, but everybody calls me Tony. I'm an assisted reproduction attorney here in New York, and as Jen said, I'm a parent through the Circle program. My husband and I were sitting where you are 13 years ago, and our son is 11 now. And I'm also a parent outreach and an attorney at Circle as well now. The thing that really means the most to me is being back here at a Men Having Babies event. I was the founding board chairman of Men Having Babies, and I Circle through Men Having Babies. So this is a literally, pardon the cliche, a full circle moment for me. One of the things that I think, and that I certainly know that my husband and I were drawn to, the comprehensive way in which Circle takes you through the entire process of surrogacy. Jen can speak to sort of the process aspect of it, but the legal aspect of it, I didn't know anything about this type of law when I was going through the process. And I really wanted an agency that had legal experience and legal expertise in this. 10 attorney staff, in-staff attorneys in our program, doing everything from insurance review, insurance defense, drafting contracts, representing parents in the contract, establishing and looking over, monitoring the legal parent establishment process, which I think is the most important part of it. But the experience in this staff, and knowing that when you sign on with Circle, you actually have your own attorney attached to you. So if you have any questions, always can go to your attorney to speak with them about it. It really does make a big difference. Circle does have, I know somebody asked a question if we offered a la carte services, and we can. For instance, if you bring your own surrogate in, we can tailor make a program for you. But one of the, I think, wonderful things about Circle is literally handles all aspects of the journey, from helping you egg donor, helping you find your surrogate and match with the right surrogate, fostering that relationship throughout the entire journey, which I believe is the reason why Circle is so successful. There's so much support for our parents and for our surrogates, and for maintaining a strong, supportive relationship, that it really speaks to the quality and the commitment of the surrogates that make it into our program. And Jen can speak to the screening process, but also to the staff that support the journeys throughout. So I'm very happy to be here. I did want somebody benefit, and we do take progeny. Progeny is a service that refers into us, and depending on your journey with us, there's either a $2,000 benefit for our gestational surrogacy and egg donation program, or a $1,500 benefit for our gestational surrogacy. Let's see. Another question popped up. Can the attorney advise on out-of-state issues if we don't live in New York? This is one of the great parts about having a big legal department, because we have attorneys who are barred all over the country. And the head of our legal department is the head of the American Bar Association Assisted Reproduction Division. So not only, if we don't have someone barred in the state that we need to give advice about, we have the man who literally knows everything about it. So we can either refer you into somebody, or we can explain that process to you. So yes, we do handle all states' laws where we can match with a surrogate. Jen, do you want to talk a little bit about, while questions are coming in, do you want to talk a little bit about our screening process and how we find the amazing surrogates that we work with?
Absolutely, Tony. So our screening process is really rigorous. We accept less than 2% of our surrogate pool into the program. And the screening process is really tailored and individualized based on what your specific matching needs are. So we spend the time getting to know you. What are your expectations? What are your hopes for this journey? And how can we match you with someone that is an appropriate fit for you? And so I think people coming into surrogacy often imagine that there is just this pool of surrogates that are waiting to get picked from. And they'll often ask me, like, can I access your database, like a donor pool, for example? And I'll say, well, actually, this is a very different process than a donor, a matching, where we really spend time getting to know what your matching needs are, and you're presented with the best fit for you out of this group of women that are coming in your time frame. And so the whole process from beginning to end is usually around 19 to 20 months or so is what you're looking at. So a little more than a year and a half from the time that you start the process until the birth of your baby. And we are with you, as Sam said, every step of the way. Throughout that entire process, you're assigned a team of people that are going to be working with you, including an attorney, as Tony said, a program coordinator, a program manager. You'll have a trust accountant that manages your account, and a support person. As a social worker, I'm always focusing on how can we best support our intended parents as they go throughout their process, and we do that in a variety of ways at Circle. Sometimes it's a one-on-one session. Sometimes it is a group that we might invite you to. My favorite aspect of Tony and I co-lead a tri-state area intended parent group for those who are in process, get to connect with others who are going through similar circumstances. So it's certainly something that I enjoy, and I know that our intended parents do as well. And so right now, matching. So we have a bunch of questions coming in, so I want to make sure we get a chance to answer them. A time frame for matching for singletons and twins. Excellent. So right now, matching is at about 7 months for a singleton and about 9 months for twins. It always takes a little bit longer to match when you're considering twins, just because there are fewer women open to taking on the additional risks of multiple birth. And so matching right now is about at that time frame. I remember during that time that you're awaiting your carrier match, you're working on different elements like identifying your IVF clinic, identifying your donor, creating embryos. We're with you through those steps that you're working on in order to get ready for your carrier match. Go ahead, Sam.
Circle does things a little bit different than a lot of agencies out there. A lot of agencies will show you a surrogate, a potential candidate, and then you'll match with that candidate, and then they'll do all the screening on that candidate for you. The reason they do that is because they want to control their costs, and they don't want to spend money screening a surrogate until they know they can match you with her. I don't really think that's a good way to do business. It leads to more match breaks. It doesn't. The metric that you should orient around is how quick are you pregnant, not how quick are you matched. And so what we do instead is we will only show you fully screened carriers. Carriers have gone through our whole screening process, including medical record review, including background checks on the surrogate and any adults in our household, which is really key. And so you're going to see carriers that are ready to do this. They're ready to get started. They're ready to start negotiating a legal agreement and getting ready to transfer as soon as possible. And so we have just a little bit different approach on things, that we're trying to get people to the finish line with the highest success rate possible. So we do things just a little bit differently than other agencies out there.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note that when sorry, Tony.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I can't see you. I was going to say, I think it's also important to know that when you no, we can't see you. I don't know is it something about your internet connection there. But I was just going to tack onto what Sam said, and that the surrogate, when they are presented to you, it is about 75% to 80% match with that first presented profile. So it's a highly likelihood that when you have your surrogate match, that you're going to move forward with her. There's very few folks that ever feel they need to consider additional profiles because of all that time and energy and screening that's done ahead of time. Ultimately, just comes down to a goodness of fit. So you decide who is the right fit for you. I see here a question.
Let me hop in real quick, if you don't mind, because I see there's a question that's been up there for a while, and I do want to just say to everybody that Sam and Jen and I, and also other reps, are going to be at our table in the expo, and you can come and talk to us. And we can have specific conversations. But there are a couple of questions that I did want to get to because they're the important ones. What are the fees involved for the egg donor program and surrogacy program? So the question is actually, what are the expected fees? And this is one of the great things about Circle, because of the sort of financial insecurity of a variable cost surrogacy journey, where you don't necessarily know what to budget for. You don't know if there's going to be a bill coming in later in the process. We created full fixed fee programs, so we can tell you exactly what the costs will be. In our gestational surrogacy and egg donation program, the two programs, the fixed cost program is $149,750, and that is everything in the surrogacy process, excluding IVF, for one transfer. If you need additional transfers after that, there's a $10,000 fee. However, if you join the Journey Protection Guarantee Program, it's $158,250. You pay that additional $8,500 up front, and it's unlimited transfers until you have a child. It's a wonderful, wonderful program and creates an incredible peace of mind. If you already have embryos coming into the program and you just want to be part of our gestational surrogacy program, the fixed cost program, again, that's for one transfer, it's $128,750. And then for the Journey Protection Guarantee, it's $137,250. Again, an additional $8,500. For sibling journeys, we do, and you do get a discount of approximately $11,000 from the agency fee. Someone asked, does Journey Protection Guarantee apply to double embryo transfers? Yes, it does. There's an additional fee of $25,000 for the twins program, but Journey Protection Guarantee does cover that as well. Let me see if there are any other questions that we can answer. See, Jen, do you want to hop in on the can match, egg donor match and surrogate at the same time, decrease your timeline?
So like I said, you're working on your egg donor matching while you're awaiting the carrier matching. And so those two things usually happen in kind of a parallel pattern where you're working on selecting your donor while you're awaiting that carrier match. It doesn't decrease your or a surrogate. I mean, we want you to make sure you have embryos in place so you're ready to go when you have your surrogate to move into getting contacts and screening done and proceeding into getting her pregnant.
One good question I do want to answer is about GPAP. GPAP stage 1, there is approximately a $10,000 discount with stage 1 benefits from GPAP. It's really, and we actually offer 4 30% discounts, but we honor GPAP stage 1 for the people who don't get those 4 discounts. So the 4 discounts are approximately $15,000. And I believe that we have already gone through those for the year, but we still honor any GPAP stage 1 recipients with a $10,000 discount, which is, I think, huge. And if you're a member of MHB, if you didn't get a GPAP discount, you still get, I believe it's a $500 discount off of the agency fee. So I apologize for jumping in on you, Jen, but I did want to get that out because I know GPAP is so important to the people attending today. So we have about a minute left. Is there anything else, Jen or Sam, that you would like to talk about?
Let's just knock a couple of these out. Where most of our surrogates live from across the U.S. We can match you in any state where it's needed, basically. Most of our surrogates, well, not most, probably 60% come from eastern Mississippi versus western Mississippi, but we do have surrogates across the U.S. I think we answered the question about attorneys out of state. We can take care of all of those things for you. And then average cost, I think, Tony talked about, was the other piece in there versus surrogate compensation. Most of our surrogates are going to be somewhere in the $40,000 to $50,000 all-in compensation range. So I know that some agencies out west, have surrogates that are $60,000 or $70,000 or $80,000. It's not really what we try to do. We try to, be as judicious as we can, so that we can finish.
So, and I think those I'll say those elements about matching, like where your surrogate lives, if you have a specific location that's important to you, we will absolutely help you find that. That's part of our process to get to know what will make this a more meaningful experience for you.
Thank you so much to our team at Circle. I know it's a quick turnaround time, so please go see them at their expo table. I know there's a lot of questions left for